What's up, everybody? Welcome to the StillySocial podcast. I'm your host, Nathan McPhee.
I'm Jonathan Bartle.
And we are recording live on location today at The Oak here in Stillwater with the owner and founder, Mr. Dalton Snow. How's it going?
It's going pretty good. Having a good day so far.
That's good. So the first thing I noticed when I walked in here was first of all, I don't know how I've never been in here before. It's really popular among college students and high school students here in the community. And I mean, this place looks amazing.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, very modern, very decorative. And like you mentioned before we started recording, that all the tables on here, you made them yourself.
Yeah, and I made them all but these two hexagon tables and the window bar are made from recycled wood.
Really?
The booths are made with pallets, and all the plywood I actually recycled from business. I was going to throw them out because they thought they were ruined, but I was like, oh no, those are definitely still good. I can use those. And it's definitely it makes it more what's the word? Like you said, simplistic and stuff like that.
Simplistic,
yeah, it allows for more options and stuff like that.
It's a really, really nice look. I love everything about it.
Yeah, very visually appealing. And of course, I heard that the drinks and stuff here are very good too.
Yes, they are. I came up with most of the recipes and everything like that, and there are quite a few that the customers actually created, because they'll be like, make me something random,
Okay.
and I'll be like, well, pick out of all these, and they'll be like, here's a flavor, and so I let them build their own most of the time, so that's why I feel like we get some good reviews too, is because they're choosing the things they like that they put in there.
Yeah, that's really
So
cool.
it's kind of like a snow cone type shop.
Yeah, in a way.
One flavor.
Yeah.
So is it more nutrition based, or what all goes in? Like,
It is more nutrition based. Our shakes, they're dairy free. They're made with the soy protein powder, so that they're just mixed with ice and water. And there's so many different variations of the flavors of the powders that we're able to do a whole lot of combinations with those. And then the teas are just an herbal tea concentrate, a blend of 3 different teas: green tea, I want to believe orange tea, and black tea. And then you can move up in levels, adding more additives to it to give yourself more energy, all while still remaining low calorie, 0 sugar.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So, yeah.
I just started getting into tea a couple months ago. I don't like coming in here. I don't know how I've never discovered it before.
Yeah, it's not the typical tea shop. There's not loose leaf tea that's eucalyptus mint flavored. You can get something that is called strawberry watermelon. It's going to taste just like strawberry watermelon, like a popsicle or something like that.
Awesome.
Those fruity type flavors. But we still do have the simple flavors. Because some people, they prefer an unsweet type of tea. We've got just a simple green tea, simple black teas, and stuff like that too.
Awesome.
So we all know the whole coronavirus thing that's been happening, and we know that there was that extended period of time where businesses shut down. And kind of walk us through the process of what it's like been reopening.
Reopening was busier than I expected. I had no idea necessarily what to expect, but from the very first day, continuing on week by week, we're progressing in sales, and they never got below a point where I thought like, oh my gosh, I'm in trouble. What am I going to do? I've never had that type of situation, but I think the community of Stillwater and the regulars I've built up and stuff like that, played the biggest factor in it, because they choose to come here rather than go to the other places that are making millions of dollars, just because.
Yeah.
And they're like, supporting local. So it's definitely been very, heartwarming.
So during the time that you were closed, did you offer like any curbside pickup stuff?
I didn't do curbside pickup, but I was doing delivery and shipments of like at-home DIY kits.
Oh, wow.
So you could pick what flavors of things you wanted, and I'd put them, say unless you got like multiples of the same flavor, I would put those in a bigger canister, but I was putting them in just small little packages that they could, take the lid off, mix it with water, and have their flavor there. I would do deliveries Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then I was shipping orders. I shipped one to New York City. I shipped some orders to California, Arkansas, Washington, and things like that. These at-home kits that travel well all over the country.
Is that something you're going to continue after the coronavirus? Or?
Yes, it's we continue doing it a little bit right now. There's not a lot of people that are like wanting that, but we have people that are going, it's summertime, they're leaving for the weekend because they're off work and all that, so they'll get those little kits with them that they can take, camping, and all I gotta do is put it in a water bottle and have a tea or a shaker cup and they got to shake. So
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So we kind of talked about like the whole coronavirus thing and how it impacted business and how it was closed. Like, did you lose a lot of money off that, or were you able to sustain yourself through it? Or
Yeah, I was able to sustain myself. Being a business owner, you want to have that money set back because you never know what's going to happen. You could have your hot water tank explode. You could have power go. We had a situation here where half of our electrical outlets one day were just didn't work. So you have to have those what if situations. You don't want to think about them, but you want to be prepared for them. So I was able to, we closed for almost 6 weeks, and I had a good enough setback to where, the bills here could be paid. None of the bill, collectors were like, give us our money, because they're going through, they understood what we're going through. And, I was able to, do the deliveries and stuff like that to, bring in some more revenue, but it never got stressful, which was good.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So on a much kind of lighter note here, when did this open?
We actually celebrate 1 year in, 5 days on June 3rd.
Really?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we'll
Happy
celebrate 1 year.
almost anniversary.
Thank you. It's crazy.
So, like, what decided you, or why did you decide to open your own business, especially like this type of business when there's so many different Herbalife other businesses out
Kind of
there?
adding on to that, what separates the Oak from other places like the Oak?
We'll kind of, branch from like what made me want to do it. I was working in one of the places similar to this across town, One Life Nutrition. My best friend and his family, they owned it, so I ran it with my best friend and his dad. And best friend moved to Edmond, dad moved back from Tulsa, and we're all doing our own different like kind of things. And I was like, you know what, I have all these ideas that I have, and this vision. And my friend's dad was like, okay, the best easiest way I can explain it is he said, okay, then chase your vision, do your growth. He goes, that's yours. So he kind of like he really showed me the way of how to do it. And once he kind of like gave me the confidence that like, okay, I can do this too. I don't just have to do it with them. I can do it myself. And with the help of them, that whole family, they really pushed me to chase my own dream instead of continue helping with theirs. So yeah.
Was the process hard or difficult?
The negotiations and getting a hold of like the people that own this building and all that stuff, that was probably the hardest part. But once I kind of like made it more simple in my head, that it's almost just like you're renting a house. Okay, you got to get a hold of the landlord. Say, hey, I'm interested in this house. They you send an application, they either accept it, reject it. That's how it happened here. And then you just got to turn on utilities and all that type of stuff. But you got to get your license, permits, health permits and stuff like that. But that's just a couple extra things. So
Okay.
Why this location?
There wasn't a lot like this over here on this side of town. North side of town is booming, and there's 3 other Herbalife clubs. One of them downtown, one of them next to the Walmart on Perkins Road, and then one just off campus. But this is the north side of town. There's College Living behind me, over there. Down at Aspen. All over the place, and you'd have to drive either all the way to campus to have a hangout spot to do homework or things like that. And with this being the main shopping center of Stillwater, I was like, it's a perfect location. I did look over there where Aspen Dental is, that building on the corner, and I went in there and like kind of like peeked through the window, and I was like, I couldn't see my ideas being there. And once I got in here to look at this spot, I was like, I can do something with this.
How long did it take you to put everything together and build it?
About a month.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I had my friend that I was, over there at One Life with, Blaine. He helped me do a whole lot of the repairs to like the wall and painting and things like that, and setting up the bar and counter and everything. And then the tables, I pretty much did solo just because I had like my vision for it. And at that time, I was kind of like very controlling. I was like, no, it's mine. Let me do it. All you can really do is just drill the holes. That's all you can do. And I was here close to 10 a.m. to about 2 p.m. or 10 a.m. to 2 a.m. every single day. I was putting in 10 plus hours of work every single day, because I was just ready. It was like a kid in a candy store, pretty much. It's like, I can, this is mine. I can't wait for it,
I guess, so obviously your main group of people that come here are college students, but is there any other demographic that kind of surprised you that shows up here? Or?
Yes, an older demographic. And, whenever I went for the whole coffee shop vibe, older people, they really like their coffee. So they'll peek in here and they either, one, think it's a coffee shop. I've had people just walk up, kind of just get and I yell out all these words that, even an experienced barista would be like, what the heck are you talking about? Or I'll have people come in and they go, is this a furniture store? I'm like, what? They think it's like a custom wood furniture store, which is a huge compliment to me, but it's, I knew with getting college students, I would get high school students, but like I'm getting their parents and that older generation because, they're seeing where their kids spending all their money. So they come and check it out. And they're like, wow, this place is awesome. And now they're coming in and, older adults love, talking with their friends about everything that they do, just as anyone else does. So then they'll come in like, oh, my friend, blah, 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 told me to come in here and try it out. And that's, it was an audience I didn't expect to get without targeting them, because all I did was target the college students.
Yeah, I guess that's pretty easy, isn't it?
Yeah, it was, getting the college students, all it took was social media.
Yeah, I see posts all the time, like Instagram stories of people holding the cups up and say, great day, or starting my morning off right and stuff like that.
Yeah. It's insane. We, that was the way I knew I could market while I was here building everything, because if I'm in here from, 10 a.m. to 2 a.m. in the morning, I don't have time to go out and, hand out flyers, new business coming. Plus, I'm also covered in sawdust and paint, I'm not going to be stuff like that. So I knew if I could get the word out on social media, something that, me being the age I am, college student, I'm on it. Everyone's on it. You might not post on it a lot, but you're on it, type of thing. So I targeted them, and it definitely was more of a relaxing outlet too, because like, okay, I just spent 4 hours trying to build this one booth. I can just like kick my feet back and like play on my phone. But while I'm playing on my phone, I'm the Oak followed a certain amount of people. I'm commenting on their pictures, I'm reacting to them, swiping up on their stories and things like that, so that they, that's in their head of like, oh, what is this? I have to see, I have no idea what this is. Click it. They see the profile. They're like, oh, wow. And then they follow them.
Yeah, in the age of social media, I've started to notice this too. A lot of businesses, especially small local businesses, they're going away from more direct, like trying to hand out flyers or newspaper ads, and they're relying more and more on the social media side of things.
Yeah. At the end of the day, whenever you kick your feet up on your bed or in your favorite recliner, are you gonna, pull out the random flyer you got today, or are you gonna pull out your phone?
Pull out the daily newspaper.
Daily newspaper. All right. What's opening?
Yeah.
So we kind of talked about like what you talked about, what reasons your business is separate from the other ones, the location, the amount of different like concoctions you have. So what kind of like dive more into like the specifics of how one starts a business like this, like a Herbalife type.
Okay. Yeah. So, one thing with this being an Herbalife Nutrition Club, unless you really look into it or ask the right questions, you wouldn't know that it was an Herbalife Nutrition Club. So, everyone, if you hear the word Herbalife, you already have your assumption of what Herbalife could be. So I wanted to take all assumptions of Herbalife potentially being negative out of the equation by just delivering the products without, billboarding it on them. And there's nothing wrong with doing it, but I've been doing it in Stillwater for almost 5 years now. I know the taste that Stillwater has of it in their mouth, and it's not a negative one, but people get their toe stepped on and they'll hold on to that for a while.
Mhm.
So, I was like, I did my research of, what people are liking right now, what's the popular trends, which, are all things I got, through getting my sociology degree, social sciences degree is, studying trends, stereotypes, and how to, study groups of people rather than just a single person like you do in psychology. And, just ironically enough, spending a lot of time on Pinterest, which, I never thought I would do, but I'm still on it to this day just to get ideas because, see what, coffee shops, like what are they doing? What does it look like in there? And I run, funny enough, I never went into any of the coffee shops here in town to see what they're doing. I've been into them before, but I didn't go in to see what they're doing. I just kind of knew the idea of what a coffee shop was, and used what I knew from being able to talk to people with Herbalife, groups of people through my degree, and you just there's certain regulations you have to follow within Herbalife. Like you have to be a distributor of the products for at least a year, because you don't want to just sign up, open up a business, know nothing about the products that you're wanting to sell, and then both businesses fail, your Herbalife and your brick and mortar business. So you definitely, I spent a lot of time studying every single product. I can tell you what they do, to where anybody that comes up to my bar, if they ask me a question, I know the answer. Because that would look bad as a business owner if I'm like, I don't know. Because it's like, then in their mind they're gonna be like, well, who the heck will know?
Let me look at the sheet right here.
The guy that owns the place doesn't know. Who is he gonna ask? But it was more simple than you'd expect. Just know your stuff and apply it.
I can't imagine trying to start a business. I don't feel like I'm that person who would take the initiative to do that. I'd be kind of scared, nervous, and so I definitely give props to you for starting.
It wasn't, the decision to do it. The idea was in my head, but the drive to do it definitely came from like the ones close to me. Like I said, that people at One Life and my family and all of that. They're like, they the ones that believed I could do it, I believed them. And then the ones that were kind of like, dude, I don't know if it's a good idea. That just made me think like, oh, well, I can't wait to prove it wrong. I'm going to do everything I can to, and one of my good friends, Austin, he straight up told me, he goes, dude, you're going to do whatever it takes to be successful. He goes, you're not going to sit down at the end of the night and be like, well, that was a bad day. We'll just, see what happens tomorrow. He goes, if you're going to have a bad day, you're going to make sure, you as a person I know, you're going to make sure that the next day is not the same as the first one.
Mm-hmm.
So, definitely outside voices gave me quite a few pep talks.
You mentioned you were a sociology major in college. Like, was there something before this that you wanted to go into, like a field of study? Or
I originally wanted to do nursing. Out of high school, my kind of like start way in the back. Out of high school, I had no idea what I wanted to do. I thought about going to welding school. I thought about going to school for physical therapy. Thought about going to school to be an accountant. And in that time of like not knowing what I wanted to do, I took 3 years out of high school before I went to college. I moved to the city, I moved back home, got all these, life experiences under my belt. And whenever I was like, okay, I'm ready to go to college, what's it going to be? I was like, nurse. I was like, I used to go, I was an accident prone kid. I've broken many bones. I've been sick many times. And my main experiences that I remember from going to the doctor or hospital was the nurse, the first person that comes and sees you that makes you like, my arm snapped in half, but, they're in there, calming me down. And I was like, if I could be that for somebody, that'd be awesome. So, I started leading into nursing. And I learned, which was funny with you guys being microbiology majors, I am terrible at science. I had no idea.
That would be a problem.
I had, and I'm, fighting for great grades in all my classes, A's in every single class, the semester before I would be applying for nursing school. And I have a very low D in human anatomy. And my advisor looked me right in the face. He goes, dude, I don't think nursing school's right for you. He goes, you have to have, I think that was the one class you had to have at least a B in to even be able to apply for nursing school. And I'm like, I'm 3 weeks out of this semester being over. So I was able to drop the class still and stuff like that, so it didn't affect my GPA. But he showed me that I had enough credit hours and that, he asked what classes I was enjoying the most, and they all tied into the social sciences type of things. And he's like, I think you should, go for this. He showed me all the types of jobs I could have, and the one that stuck out to me the most was journalism, and it was like in the sense of not in the sense of journalism as like covering something bad that just happened, but it's like, reporting on the trends and the popular things that are happening in the world and stuff like that. That's what I was going to go into. So I was like, sure, let's go for it.
Pretty impressive. Before we started recording, Dalton, you finished college in 2.5 years.
I did. Once I got in there, and I realized I liked it. I liked the experience, but I don't want to be here for very long. And if I can do anything to get out of here quicker, I'm going to. It was like a hostage situation. You're going to try to get out of there no matter what. And it was, I was definitely stressed throughout it. The college experience is actually what got me into the whole Herbalife experience. My first semester, I think I took 23 hours as a freshman.
Oh,
my first college semester.
Oh, wow.
But my thing is my advisor at that time, I ended up having a different one that helped me more. He was like, you're going to be in classes Monday through Friday from like 8:30 to 4.
Mhm.
I'm like, I just got done with high school, we're going to class 8:30 to 3. I was like, this can't be too bad. It was too bad because I was also working 5 to 11 every night after that. And, being stressed, being constantly busy, missing meals and stuff like that, I ended up losing, the freshman 15 that everybody gains. And, I would have loved to because I was already small at the time. I've never been a big dude. But one of my, it's how I ended up becoming with the friends at One Life. My girlfriend at the time went to school with a guy named Gabe who came in. He ran into us in Walmart and they had a conversation. And I went into a nutrition club off of an invite from him, and started taking the Herbalife product with no intentions of selling it at all. And I'm getting a result and all this type of stuff, and getting the teas that give me energy, and I'm putting on muscle because I'm actually working out and taking the right supplements and stuff like that. Because growing up, people were like, oh, just eat McDonald's or Taco Bell, you'll put on weight.
Mhm.
All it did was give me acne. Terrible acne. It was the worst thing ever. And, since that day, I've put on now 45 pounds of muscle, and, it's keeping my body weight lean. And, that kind of bridged everything, connected in together, like got me through college. Because I was like, if, it got to the point to where I wasn't selling purposely, but people were buying from me off my website, or they'd go into the same club that I'm going into, and they'd be like, yeah, my friend Dalton comes here, and then they'd want to order things. And it got to a point to where my checks were from Herbalife, not even really doing it, just working part-time, were higher than what I was making at my job. And then they got to a point to where, I was going to be making more than what I'd get with my degree if I went to a job field. And so I was like, okay, I want to get out of college quick, and I want to keep doing this and making a lot of money. So let's just like express this, get out of college, focus on doing a business.
Mhm.
And that's how it worked out.
Wow.
Yeah, we know a lot of chemical engineers. We got a lot of buddies that are chemical engineers, and the amount of stuff that like we got to do a lot of stuff too. But there's other degrees out there that are insane.
I don't think I could do what chemical engineers do. We have a mutual friend, Garrison. He just grinds like
I mean,
every single day.
he's in the basement of the library studying from like 6 a.m. to.
We've had people in here that we open 7 a.m. on weekdays, close at 9. And there's been people waiting to get in here, coming in at 7 and then leaving at 9 p.m., like being here the entire 14-hour day.
Oh,
gosh. And, they'll leave, go get some food, and then come back, or, they'll order a shake or a tea and stuff like that. But I'm just like, this person just studied for 14 hours. Oh my gosh. I can't even imagine the test.
I'm not that dedicated. I could not do that.
Yeah.
My days, I kind of set aside like a normal work day, like 9 to 5, go to class and then study till 5 or 6, then go back to the apartment and have fun for the evening.
Exactly.
Or just chill for the evening.
That makes it, that kind of makes it easier too, treating, because that's what I was kind of doing with college, was treating it as a job, before my job. Because, I wanted to complete it, do the best I could. I wasn't going to, growing up, my stepdad always said, if you're going to do something, don't half-ass it because you're going to do that other half later. So with college, I was like, if I do it all 100% now, go home, take a quick little rest, go to work, do 100%, and then go home and rest.
It definitely builds up dedication and like that hard work, that ethic, excuse me,
Yeah.
that you really need to start a business.
And it makes it so much more rewarding whenever you do, like, you learn to appreciate rest more.
Oh yeah.
And definitely appreciate free time, because just like what I was doing with college, as soon as I opened this place up, I didn't hire any employees because I didn't know what my expenses were going to be. How much, how can I tell someone I can pay them this much when I haven't even known what I'm going to make that month? And so I was here all 86 hours of the week for probably about 9 months straight.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it was a grind.
Yeah, there would be some days that like I brought in like my best friends. They all wanted to help. They were helping me build it. Ones that aren't even associated with Herbalife, they just wanted to help. So they learned everything that I knew, and so that they could come in and be like, Dalton, go home and take it. Go rest for 3 hours. I'm like, oh thank God. Or they'd be like, Dalton, have you had anything for lunch? I'm like, no, I've been the only one here. I haven't really, I surrounded myself with that good group of people that really make it easier. But there are definitely days where I am so excited to just go home, kick my feet up, and just kind of like not think about anything for about 45 minutes.
Yeah. So we both grew up in this area. We're both from Perkins. How would you say that not only the university but the entire community, like how not just the business scene but just overall, how much has it changed the past 2 decades?
It's more of a evolved small town feel, like in the sense of Stillwater, because like Perkins, growing up there, for the longest time we only had a Sonic, and then we got a McDonald's,
Yep.
and then we got a grocery store, and there's like more restaurants kind of popping up, and there's more housing being built. That kind of happened here in Stillwater. You'd watch, whenever, like, I remember when Olive Garden came in here, I thought it was the craziest thing because I've only been to Olive Garden once and it was in the city. So I thought it was like this luxurious place. I'm like, no, it's just another chain restaurant. So you still get those chain restaurants that are able to survive, but the scene definitely changed because at a point it felt like, I only knew of the chain restaurants in town, but then there comes a point where I was like, oh wow, a lot of these are just places I don't hear of anywhere else. Because like once I got out of high school and moved to the city, there's not, a Dainty Hooligans boutique in the city, or there's not, Nagoya in the city. I was like, wow, a lot of these are more just like people move here because of the community, and they stay because of the community. So there are a lot of community built, community fueled businesses in here than there used to be, I feel like.
Awesome.
Yeah, now they're talking about I think it was the mayor that put out a tweet or something or a post or something that said, fill out the census so we can get a Target.
Yeah,
I mean, it's crazy how much, like, because I'm a little bit younger than you, but I still remember how everything's changed. Like I remember when the McDonald's came in Perkins.
It was the craziest thing.
So we were talking about this a couple of days ago in one of our little meetings. There used to be an identical dorm to Kurt Drummond on campus, and I remember when they tore that down, we were sitting there watching it with the wrecking ball.
I remember the stadium like being extended over Gallagher. I was like, young at that time, very young. I'm not that old, but like, watching campus just grow and all these crazy new things. Like we just watched the new baseball stadium. I remember when the new baseball stadium was the new baseball stadium and all that. It's crazy how kind of like under the radar it's grown too, for sure.
I haven't really been to other university towns and stuff like that, but because I've grown up here, I definitely have, like, it's smaller than Oklahoma City. It's smaller than Tulsa.
Yeah.
And it's smaller than a lot of those big college towns that you have out there. Like Norman's a town of over 100,000 people.
Yeah, kind of strange. University of Nebraska-Lincoln is a very similar sized college to this college, Oklahoma State, but Lincoln is just a big city. I mean, Stillwater is tiny in comparison.
Which is definitely why I don't know if we talked about it on just the cast service before, but how we talked about it's like a small town with a college in it. It's there's OSU, which is almost its own town, city, and then there's Stillwater, which is its own town and city. They just happen to be like in the middle, and it's kind of how suburbs of the city are, like Norman, Midwest City, Del City, all those, and like in Tulsa, Bixby, Jinx, Broken Arrow. Those are all parts of the bigger cities. We're just kind of like our own little bitty city with a little bitty city in it.
It definitely has that. Well, not for some people that come from like Texas and stuff, but for me, it's got that small town college feel.
Yeah.
I mean, it's incredible. Like OSU has its own little community, but it's part of such a like a more broader Stillwater community, because the people in Stillwater love OSU. OSU loves Stillwater.
Exactly, and you can almost kind of look at it in a very broad section of like media. Oklahoma State doesn't get talked a lot about on the media as much as like OU does. Well, yes, they've won quite a bit, but we're still holding our own in our sports and stuff like that. But it's because we are smaller. We're a little more under the radar. We are that mom and pop type of place rather than the big chain type place.
Yeah, you say that. I lived in Minnesota most of my life. I hadn't heard of Oklahoma State University for a really long time. Just like moving to Tulsa a couple of years ago, it was like, oh, you guys are OSU fans? Yeah, Ohio State's pretty cool. But I mean, like, I'd have never really heard of this place, and it's just, I really like it here. It's kind of fun. Like you said, it's mom and pop. It's really fun.
It's a nice like a relaxing breath compared to some of the other places.
Oh yeah.
I think that's kind of too why small businesses like especially thrive here.
Yeah.
I mean, you have like your big chains like the Olive Gardens, the Canes, the Chick-fil-A and stuff, and obviously we have, 18,000 chicken places here.
So many chicken places.
I think small businesses, because we're a small community, and not everyone knows everyone, but we're small enough to where people get around.
Exactly. Word of mouth travels fast.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, it's kind of like me and my girlfriend are talking. Stillwater is a place that can be home still.
Mm-hmm.
She has friends that like go to other colleges and then they're ready to just like go somewhere else. She's originally from Texas, down near Houston, and she moved here for school, and she's like, this could totally be a place of home. Some like you don't necessarily get stuck here; you fall in love with this place. And in a lot of the bigger cities, not everybody wants to live in a city. They want to move to a smaller city or a smaller town. Well, Stillwater is already that. So it's definitely, that's another way it can kind of be different than all the others.
Oh yeah.
So kind of switching gears here, talking more about the Oak, your business, and looking, because you said we're 5 days away from the 1 year anniversary of it opening. Looking back at that 1 year, like, are there things that you thought you did amazing, or things that you'd want to change or do better?
Oh man, yeah, definitely ask for more help. I was, I let my control freak attitude, not in like a greedy type way of like, this is mine, but it was like, I had a vision, like I had an idea for something. I knew if I did it, it'd turn out the exact same way, like the exact way I wanted it to. But like, that doesn't mean this other person's idea for it would be worse. And if I definitely should have accepted the help that was asked of me, and I definitely should have asked for the help, earlier on. And then, because like once it got to the point where I was like, crying for help, I did it in a very wrong way, and it just made a very messy situation. But that would be the one thing I would change was, hey, Dalton, you don't have to do all of it.
So now you take that, what happened or what you wanted to change in the past. What are your future goals? Like what?
Oh man, that's one thing. There's a whole bunch of them that, I don't necessarily want to speak of because they're going to be kind of the first of their kind, but, we're going to, one of the things I say with the Oak is it's ever evolving. So like it looks like this right now. It'll look nothing like this when I first opened, and, months from now, it's not going to look anything like this again. So those are kind of tying into a lot of those ideas. I want to, I don't have TVs in here because I don't want people coming here to watch TV. I want people to come in here to talk to themselves, hang out, or study. I don't want those distractions. However, though, we live in a college town. People love their sports. So I want to get like a giant projector that, on game days, we kind of close part of the bar and a projector will pull down right there. we'll put some blinds up on the windows and, have the game playing on a massive screen.
Oh, fun.
Who doesn't want to watch in a massive screen in a less crowded, more quiet place? And a lot of things like that. So it'll be interesting for sure.
Yeah, that's something definitely to look forward to.
Yeah. We're probably going to extend our hours too once we open back up. Like when school starts back up, we're closing at 9, but there'd be nights that it's still 9 o'clock and there's like 12 plus people in here like still like cramming, they're studying. So I never rush anybody out. If I have anybody sitting in here and we're closed, I do my closing duties to the point to where if someone still comes in, I can make stuff, but I never like shoo them out. So definitely, the extended hours is another thing we're going to do.
So how many people do you have helping you right now?
Right now, since we opened back up, it's just, me and then, I have one. So before like the whole coronavirus thing, I had, let me do some counting. I want to say I had about 7 people that are able to help me, and I was paying them and stuff like that. And what's funny is it wasn't until probably like a week before the whole coronavirus thing hit that I brought these people on to help me. So they're able to work for a week, and then the whole coronavirus thing happened, and all but 2 of them lived, all but 2 of them lived out of town. So whenever it hit and campus closed, they're living on campus, they're living here, their parents went them home, boom, they were all gone. And then we closed. I didn't have anybody here, and one of the other ones got another job, but she still helps out over here, and the other one is busy with a whole bunch of other things. So right now it's just me. I am bringing on a guy next month that's going to help me out because he wants to open up one of these in Tulsa, and so get him in here, show him the ropes, help him out. He'll kind of become like my right hand man type of thing, so that he can really experience the whole stuff. But like right now it's just me and a couple close friends.
Awesome.
Would you say that like this type of Herbalife business, is it like growing, or is it kind of staying steady?
It is definitely growing. It's every year Herbalife sales shoot up, and it's because so many people are doing it so many different ways. There's people that do fit camps, and like that's their main thing. Mine is getting people in here, and they can just get shakes and teas. If they want to buy an at-home program, they can. But if they just want to come in here every day and buy a shake, I'm not going to argue against that. But it's definitely growing because with this being a brick and mortar store, yes, I have the Oak as part of my business, but I still have Dalton Snow Herbalife distributor business as well.
Mm-hmm.
So like I'm getting a check from there, I can get retail sales from here, and then I'm making wholesale from here. So it's like I want to grow all of them because there's going to be a point to where I don't have to step foot in this door. I'll pass it on to somebody else, and I will travel the world while I know this is taken care of and all the other ones are taken care of. So if I have my Herbalife business taking care of me too, it's just going to be a little bit nicer.
Yeah. So you had talked about your kind of like the way people come in and request their own shakes be made and stuff like that. And I was kind of looking at your menu on Facebook earlier, and there's especially in the shakes, there's a lot of different options.
Yeah, and a lot of them, yes, I did come up with, I'll just like look at the flavors and be like, okay, this will taste good together, and either make it, try it, and be like, okay, that's awesome, we'll do it like this. But whenever we first started, we didn't have this many options, and as we've gone, I've done holiday menus, and I'll create new complete flavors for the holiday menus, and then 2 of those most popular ones I take from the holiday menu, put on the new menu, so that bam, and I built it. But yeah, the customers come in, and we have a thing where like with shakes, it's most popular with shakes. We say you can Frankenstein it because they're like, I don't know if I want a Reese's or an Elvis. Okay, well if you combine those 2 things as a chocolate, peanut butter banana, call it the Chunky Monkey, or let them come up with their names. Like there's one on there, the Corvette cookie. Guy wanted an Oreo, and he also wanted a caramel cheesecake. So we put it together, and now we have a caramel Oreo cheesecake, and it's one of the most popular selling shakes we have. And that's because he came up with it, and he was telling people about it. Because if you go somewhere and you create your own flavor, you're going to tell your friends about it. You have to become a flavor. So he's his friends are coming in, making trying it, and it got so popular. I was like, okay, I have to put it on the menu, and that's when it kind of like started going with like not just the shakes, but also the teas. People come in here and make things, and my friends, whenever they come help, they would make random things like, oh my gosh, you have to try this. It's delicious. Let's put it on the menu. And that's how, we built up most of our flavors.
So I guess of all of your all the fan created and what you created, what's your favorite smoothie and tea?
Oh, my favorite smoothie is either the Oreo or the peanut butter waffle. Depends on what I'm going for. Every morning I have the peanut butter waffle almost every morning, and then midday if I'm still a little bit hungry after my lunch, I'm like, oh yes, an Oreo shake because it tastes just like cookies and cream shakes you get from anywhere else. My favorite tea, we have a secret menu as well.
Ooh.
Not a lot of people know about it, but they're going to now, I guess. That's you only hear about it from word of mouth, or if you come in and you're like, what do you suggest? I always suggest the star fruit. It's a tea that I made one day accidentally, and it is delicious, and it's probably the most popular tea we have in the store, because if someone comes in and they're like, I don't know what I want to get, you pick. Obviously, I'm going to pick what I like the most, and I'll recommend it, but then I'll also ask their flavors, and I'll be like, okay, I bet you'd like the star fruit. And, so it's a pineapple, strawberry, watermelon, berry pomegranate mix, and it is quite delicious. It's the right combination of fruity and sweet.
Well, what do you think the customer's favorite? Like, what's the best-selling item that you have?
Best-selling shake is the Oreo, just because it looks pretty, tastes delicious, and
it's fairly well known, too.
It's fairly well known. Everybody knows what Oreos are, The tea, if we take the star fruit out of the equation, the ones that I recommend, the teas are always changing what's the most popular one. Like before the whole coronavirus thing hit, the tropical sunrise was the most popular tea. Well, as soon as we open, out of nowhere, everybody's getting this tea called the beachfront, which is a blue raspberry lemonade. This has been the most popular one so far since this month that we've been open.
So not just you, like as a business owner, and for all the other business owners out there, how hard do you think, or what certain aspects do you think will change of running a business after this whole pandemic thing pans out?
Right now, it's kind of hard for Stillwater to tell since students are all gone. The town is way less populated than it normally is. Right now, places are only at half capacity. So, a lot of the Texas Roadhouse crew comes over. Apparently, they're about to go into the next phase, though, to where they're going to be full capacity again.
Really?
But, the servers are still required to wear gloves and face masks. So I feel just more of those steps will be taken into consideration, because you can't you can't build up a business and then be told, hey, you can only actually have half of it. You can only have half your clientele coming in.
Mm-hmm.
So with the economy and stuff like that, we have to make money and stuff like that, but we also have to be smart. And so I feel like just more. I don't know if it'll be strict, because it's going to be right now it's every business can kind of choose what they want to do. Small business wise, these Petco, they're a big corporate brand, so that when the whole corporate says you must wear a mask, every single Petco is wearing a mask. But it's going to be different from all different small businesses you go into.
Yeah,
There's probably more strictness on smart type of safety and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Well, because we've seen a lot of restaurants and businesses and stuff just allow half capacity and put up because you have one up here, the little glass windshield above the cash register.
In case someone doesn't come in with the mask, there's still that little bit of protectant. What's crazy enough is the guy that cleans our windows, he uses he has a certain type of cleaner that is also a disinfectant. So that's one way we're also disinfecting, and then we clean this place all the time, just because we're still also have capacity, but I'm always wiping things down and stuff like that, just to be smarter. You never know. So
was there any other important remarks or stuff you want to say to our audience or college students out there?
Shoot, all I know is that you guys, whoever's listening to this right now, has to continue, make sure they're continuously listening to you guys, because your mission, your guys' goal is incredible to reach those more kind of under the radar, less heard of businesses. Everyone knows what a Texas Roadhouse is, but they don't know what the smaller business could be, that like Olive Garden. But not a lot of people have heard of Da Vinci's, and it's literally just right there. So with you guys spreading that word of everything like that, it's definitely going to be a benefit for all of Stillwater.
Well, thank you. We appreciate that.
Thank you.
Appreciate you guys.
So, what are your hours of operation like currently, and then when the whole thing pans, like posted hours? Yeah.
Right now, we're 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. Saturday, Sunday. Once school starts back up, we will go back to our previous regular hours of 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. and then 9 to 5 p.m. on the weekends. And then once, because I'm going to be hiring more people around the time school starts and I have more people to help, we'll probably extend our weekend hours probably like 9 to 9 and then our weekday hours 7 to 10.
Yeah, so make sure you guys come out here and check out the Oak in Dalton. All the Herbalife smoothies, shakes, teas you can get. I'm definitely going to come in here and start trying them out. I'm excited to look forward to that. So, yeah, thank you, man, for
Thank you guys.
allowing us to interview you. It was fun, and we definitely hope we can do it again.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you guys.
Well, that's it for this episode. We hope you guys have a great week, and we'll see you next time.
Yep, have a good one.